Good morning. Shabbat Shalom. Uh, Page 68. And good morning, anybody watching online? Page 68. People watching online, thanks for being with us. Are we going to we're going to open up the screen so that if they're on, we'll put the screen on. Good. Model Avi Lefanel Melech Adekaya Model Ani Lefanecha Melech Adekaya שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה רבה Page 75. So we're going to take turns reading the English passages. So as you read nice and loudly. Maybe people online will hear you. If you don't feel like reading, though, just wave to the next person around the rows. We'll go around one row to the next row and back to the front again. So page 75, Henry, would you like to read?
May the one whose spirit is with us in every righteous deed be with all who work for the good of humanity and bear the burdens of others, and who give bread to the hungry, who clothe the naked, and take the friendliness into their homes. May the work of their hands endure. May the seed they sow bring abundant harvest.
On page 76. So we're going to go from page 76 to page 78. These two songs kind of combine together. And it starts on the third line on page 76. Asher yatzar et ha'adam bechokma uvaravo nikavim halulim asher yatzar et ha'adam bechokma uvaravo nikavim halulim galui veyadua lifnei let's take turns reading one paragraph at a time. Isaac?
Others, if I can see myself as diminishing of their sorrows.
And so moving around the row, Ruby, up to you.
I can hasten the time when everyone will be able to rejoice in freedom.
And if I can see myself as the companion of those fighting against oppression,
I can honor the struggle of people everywhere to gain dignity and deliverance from bondage.
When I look at myself in the mirror, who will I see?
Let's continue on page 86.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Page 87 at the top of the page. Susie?
We seekers of God, how do we find you? In good deeds and in the study of Torah. And your search for us? You find us in the bending of the knee, in the rigorous study, in the honesty of commerce.
For good heart, through decency and respect, true fellowship, companionship, and love, through truth and peace. In the no that is really no, and the yes that is really yes.
Baruch atah Adonai hamilamed Torah.
Torah le'amo Yisrael. Page 94. So this has English lyrics that are not here that convey the idea of this passage. Baruch She'amar is the opening of the second section in a morning service. You have Birchot HaShachar, morning blessings, and then Pesukei de Zimra, verses of song. And the verses of song have this bracket, blessed is the one who spoke and the world came into being, and they lead up through a glorious series of psalm and rabbinic prayer, and culminating in a blessing of song. That all is the warm-up to the formal part of the service. So the Hebrew that does go with this is the opening line of this passage at the top of 94. With the word, the creator of the earth, the whole universe. With the word, the creator of the earth, designed the whole universe. The earth started with the word. The earth started with the word. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam. With the word, the creator of the earth, designed the whole universe. With the word, the creator of the earth, designed the whole universe. The earth started with the word. The earth started with the word. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam. Page 101. And let the soul, let's see, we're up to Trish. There you go.
Let the soul of everything alive bless your name, Adonai, our God. And the spirit of all flesh glorify and exalt your name forever, O sovereign. Transcending space and time, you alone are God. We have no sovereign beside you, God of the first and the last, God of all creatures, Master of all generations, who is praised in a multitude of praises, who guides the world with abundant loving kindness and all creatures with mercy. Adonai neither slumbers nor sleeps. God awakens the sleeping, arouses those who slumber, gives speech to the mute. And God loosens the bonds of captives. God supports the fallen and strengthens those who are bent over. You alone do we acknowledge.
Responsive.
On page 102. Even if our mouths were full of song as the sea, and our tongues full of joy in countless waves, and our lips full of praise as wide as the sky's expanse, and were our eyes to shine like sun and moon, if our hands were spread out like heaven's eagles, and our feet swift like we could never thank you adequately, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, to bless your name for a 10,000th of the many myriads of times you granted favors to our ancestors and to us. Page 103, Henry, we're back to you.
Therefore these limbs which you formed in us, and this spirit and soul that you breathed into our nostrils, this tongue which you have set in our mouths, they must acknowledge, bless, praise, and glorify your name, O Sovereign. For every mouth will acknowledge you, and every tongue pledge homage to you. Every knee bend in your presence, every upright person shall bow before you. Every heart will revere you, and every inmost thought will sing to your name. And David said, let all my bones exclaim, who is like you, Adonai? As David continued, bless Adonai, O my soul, and let my inner being praise your holy name.
I just want to point out
how this unfolds, this Pesukei to Zimmer section. You know, even if our mouths could like do this wondrous thing, we still couldn't praise you adequately. And then it goes on, and yet the talents that you have placed within us, and notice the repeated reference to the tongue, to the quality of speech, repeatedly referenced, which is how the section opens up. Blessed is the one who spoke, and the world came into being. It's all about speech, what we can do with our lips, our mouths. And yet, that's what we have to do. We have to praise you, even though it's inadequate to do so. And then it quotes David. And, David quotes from the Psalms. And here's some examples of praise to you. And then you conclude with the blessing that says, there's nothing you, God, like better than a good song from us. Page 105.
You shall always be praised, great and holy God, our sovereign in heaven and on earth. Songs of praise and songs of adoration become you, acknowledging that your right and your dominion. Yours are strength and sovereignty, sanctity, grandeur, and glory always. We offer our devotion, open our hearts in acclamation.
Baruch atah Adonai.
El Melech Gadol Batish Bachot, El HaHodaot, Adon HaNiflaot, HaBocher B'Shirei Zimra, Melech El Chei HaOlamim. And let's see, page 106. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, B'alma divrach Yehutei, v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala, Ba'gala, uv'izman kari, v'imeru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach, Le'olam ulol me'almaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudisha, Brichu, Le'ela, Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Da Mihiran B'alma, V'imeru, Amen. All right, you all know Baruch Hu. And so I'm going to do something on the left side of the page, on page 109. If you look at the top of the page, you look at that Hebrew, it's an alternative to Baruch Hu that we know about because this version of Baruch Hu was found I think it's the Cairo Geniza. It comes from a Geniza and represents the way our ancestors prayed in the land of Israel. Now, most of our prayers are derived from rabbinic practice in Babylonia, from not the ancient Babylonia, the rabbinic period Babylonia. And that's where the prayers that, what we think of as the prayer book started to emerge. But they had different customs, different prayers that they recited in the land of Israel. And this is when you think of what's Baruch Hu, it's really the opening to the Shema section of the service. And that's what this version is. So I invite you to try your hand at reading it out loud with me in Hebrew, and then we'll read it together in English. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al mitzvat kriyat shema, laham licho b'levav shalem, uliachdo b'lev tov, ul'ovdo b'nefesh chafetza. Together, praised are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us how to recite the Shema, to declare wholeheartedly God's rule, to declare earnestly God is one, and to willingly worship God. You may be seated. So when our teens write their creative service, they can know that long ago, our ancestors were doing different versions of the prayers. All right, page 110. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei choshech, oseh shalom uvarei et hakol. Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam bechochma asita, malah ha'aretz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, va'al me'orei or she'asita yifarucha sela, or chadash al tzion ta'ir, v'nizkechu lanu mehera le'oro, baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha'me'orot. Page 112. Ahava Rabbah, Ahava Rabbah, Ahava Rabbah, Ahavtanu, Ahava Rabbah, Ahava Rabbah, Ahava Rabbah. Adonai Eloheinu, how deeply you have loved us, how deeply you have loved us, how deeply you have loved us, Adonai Eloheinu, Ahava Rabbah. Adonai Eloheinu, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem kivod malchuto leolam vahed. Page 117, and Sharon, I'm passing it over to you. Oh, wait, did I go around the, no, I didn't go around the circle. Sorry, Ruby, we're up to you. 117.
At the top of the page.
When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love invokes willing sacrifice from us, when, to the last full measure of selfless devotion, we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of our trust and righteousness, then your goodness enters our lives, and we can begin to change the world. And then you live in our hearts, and we, through righteousness, behold your presence.
Page 123.
Anna?
Will win over all the wickedness, over all the wrongs we have done. We will look back at the pages of written history and be amazed, and then we will laugh and sing, and the good that is in us, children in their cradles will have won. Our hearts beat with certainty that there is a day and an hour and a mountain called Zion, and that all of the sufferings will gather there and become song, ringing out to every corner of the earth from end to end, and the nations will hear it, and like the caravans in the desert will all that mourning throng.
I want to do some of the alternative readings today. They're beautiful, and we don't often pay attention to them. Page 125, and at the bottom of the page, Sharon, last reading.
Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city, but prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will.
Page 127.
Let's rise. We're going to read some of the English versions of the opening prayers of the Amidah. Page 127, and Beth, would you lead us at the top of the page, please?
Page 127?
Yeah.
Our fathers and mothers prayed, each through their own experience of God, each through their own visions, which we have come to share.
Abraham, with the fervor of justice, pleaded the cause of cities. Sarah, in the pain of waiting, dared to hope for new life.
Isaac, meditating alone in the field, lifted his eyes to find love. Rebekah asked for the ability to discern God's call.
Jacob plied the rungs of his night into heaven, seeking destiny. Leah dreamed of love, and Rachel sought harmony.
We, as they, seek God's presence.
Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. And page 129. Let's take turns reading paragraphs here.
You are the open door that beckons me in, peeking around the doorframe. I begin to enter into your glory.
You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries. Lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you.
In the house of the Eternal, I found my questions waiting to be posed. They filled me with wonder.
Sit with me, eternal teacher. Encourage my seeking. As I fill my hours with your mitzvot, so shall I be filled.
Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing with this wonder, enriching myself in the giving.
Baruch atah Adonai, notea b'tochenu chayei olam. Page 130.
Nekadesh et Shimcha, Shimcha ba'olam, Kishim Shema Kishimoto, Shmei Maro, Katuv al Yad Neviyecha, Karasei el Seve Amar, Katuv al Yad Neviyecha. Kadosh, 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 may be seated. Page 132. And let's see, where did we leave off? I'm not sure. Who was our last reader? Yes? Okay, it is now.
132, top of the page.
We are a people in whom
132, go back to the previous one.
those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness. For being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation.
Page 137, top of the, we'll do the middle of the page. We'll take turns with paragraphs.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, and to joy.
May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah.
Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess, and cleanse our hearts to serve life well.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levanecha b'yirah.
Na'avod. Page 140. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Chain v'chesed Chain v'chesed v'rachamim Chain v'chesed Chain v'chesed v'rachamim V'rachamim Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Amecha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Tova Uvracha Tova Uvracha. Find yourself a silent prayer on pages 142 and 143. Yehu leratzon imre fi vehegyon lefanecha, Adonai tzuri, vegoali, Adonai tzuri, vegoali. And we're going to continue with the Torah service on page 244. So just a reminder how this is going to work. When we start singing, everybody's going to stand, and Anna and Sharon are going to come up, open the ark. Sharon's going to give you the Torah and come back up to the lectern and hold on to the Torah all the way through Shema. Until we get done with Shema, I'm going to turn around and face the ark on Gadlu, and after Gadlu, you're going to walk the Torah around the sanctuary. Okay, page 244, please rise. Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim, heitiv avirtzoncha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Ki lecha levad batachnu, Melech el ram v'nisa Adon olamim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udevar Adonai meherushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, L'amo Yisrael, b'hikdushato. I'm going to sing first, and then you answer back. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlu Adonai iti, uneromema Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula, v'hagevura, v'hatiferet, v'hanetzach, v'hahod. Ki chol b'shamayim uvaretz, Ki chol b'shamayim uvaretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, ve'amit nahaseh lechol erosh. Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed, Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. You may want to get a copy of the Chumash. Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed, Al shlosha may be seated, and we're passing out copies of the Chumash. We're collecting copies of the Chumash, and then passing them out.
Rabbi, I need a little help.
Yeah, okay.
Somebody moved
So,
it.
let's see. What, somebody was reading from the Torah? Oh, my gosh.
I don't know.
Okay, so let's see here. We're in Kitisa, right? Hold on a second.
Page 589 is reading chapter 32, verse 13 through 20.
Okay, so we're right there. Let me see your text. On 13. Okay. All right, so let's put this, oops, sorry. And, yeah, let me grab it here.
Page 589.
Zechor, is that the opening one? Zechor LaAvraham, Yitzchak, okay, right there. Look right to you?
That's what I say. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, for those watching online, we are reading from Parshat Kitisa. I want to come back to what the significance of this portion is after the Torah and Haftarah reading. It's Exodus chapter 32, and we're going to begin in verse 13. Again, it's Exodus chapter 32, beginning in verse 13. And I'm going to need a copy here. Oops, Seth Lavender is our Torah, our Baal Kriya today, our Torah chanter. After we're done, we'll talk about, why these verses were interesting to you. So our Torah blessing will be recited by Susie Mosca. Ta'amod Shoshana bat Avraham v'Sarah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Zechor le'Avraham le'Yitzhak u'Yisrael avadecha asher nishbata lachem bach v'yidaber elechem arbe et zarachem ככוכבי השמיים וכל הארץ הזאת אשר אמרתי אתן לזרעכם ונחלו לעולם. ונחם Adonai el ha'ara asher davar la'asot la'amo vayifen vayired Moshe min chachar u'shnei luchot ha'adut beyado luchot ketuvim משני אבריכם, מזה ומזכם כתובים, והלוחות מעשה אליכם המה, וכם תחתיו, מכתב עליכם היא הורה אל הלוחות, Veyash- ve- Veyashma v'hoshua en kot ha'am b'reo vayomer el Moshe kol milchama b'machane vayomer ein kol anot gevurot ve'ein kol anot halusha kol anot anochi shomea Vayhi ka'asher karav el ha'mahane vayar et ha'egel cholot vayachar ef Moshe vayishlach mayadav et haluchot vayashber otam tachat chachar vayikach et ha'egel asher asu vayasref ba'esh vayitain ad asher dak vayizer al pnei hamayim vayash et bnei Yisrael.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Thank you, Seth. Dramatic portion. You pick like the drama of the whole book. Okay. We are going to lift the Torah and dress the Torah, and as we lift this up, we all stand, and then, oops, I didn't mean to do that. And Trish, after you've lifted the Torah, would you please place it back down on the table, and then go sit down, and we'll hand it to you. Okay? All right. Henry, get ready. Ruby, you're on. V'zot Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Ya la 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 la. Lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Yai, la, lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, la, lie, lie, lie. Yai, lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, 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 lie. Ya la lie 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 ya lie 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 ya lie 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 ya lie 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 lie. And I'm going to read just what happened here. There we go. I'm just going to read a very small excerpt out of the Haftarah, which is from 1 Kings. Those of you who are watching online, I'm reading 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 20. Those of you who are, thank you. So again, we are in 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 20. And there we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratzav v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo Uvinvi'e ha'emet v'tzedek. If you're looking for where it is, it's on page 608. Turn to page 608 and look down towards the bottom of the page to verse 20. All right. Vayomer Eliyahu linvi'e habal. That's not where I'm starting. So, nope. Start in the middle. All right. Vayishlach achav b'chol b'nei Yisrael vayikbotz et haniviim el har hakarmel vayigash Eliyahu el kol ha'am vayomer ad matai atem posachim al shetei ha'seipim Im Adonai ha-Elohim lechu acharav, v'im ha-Baal lechu acharav, v'lo anu ha'am oto hadavar, vayomer Eliyahu el ha'am ani notarti navi l'Adonai levadi unvi'e ha-Baal Arba me'ot v'chamishim ish vayitnu lanu shenayim parim vayivacharu lahem hapar ha'echad vayinatechu v'yasimu al ha'etzim ve'esh lo yasimu v'ani eseh et hapar ha'echad v'natati al ha'etzim ve'esh lo asim ukratem v'shem Elohechem v'ani ekra v'shem Adonai V'haya ha'Elohim asher ya'aneh va'esh hu ha'Elohim v'yad kol ha'am v'yomeru tov hadavar Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam tzur kol ha'olamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer v'oseh hamdaber kayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu liktushav limnucha lechavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umevarchim otach yitbarak shimcha b'fi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed baruch ata Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. Well, there's stuff going on in the Torah and the Haftarah that are parallel. The Haftarah is the story of Elijah battling the prophets of Baal on top of Mount Carmel, and of course you've got bulls in the story of you got a bull in the story of Moses, golden calf. You've got bulls in the story of Elijah and the prophets. You've got apostasy, worshiping idols in the story of Moses, the golden calf. You've got worshiping idol, apostasy, foreign gods in the story of Elijah and the prophets. So it's clear why the rabbis picked that part of 1 Kings to parallel the story in the Torah. But let's go back to the story in the Torah, and I think I'm going to move away from the microphone. I'm going to step out in front so that we can use the neat bar so that those watching online can hear everybody in the room, and vice versa, so that if you would like to contribute from where you are online. So I'm going to turn back in the Chumash to the page where we found that Torah reading, which was on page 589. Page 589 in the Chumash. We're back to Exodus chapter 32, verse 13. Exodus chapter 32, verse 13. just comment online. I'm looking at a few of you in Zoom, and Liz, your image in Zoom looks like a Cahindo Wiley painting.
What?
Okay,
What do you mean?
Floral.
Yeah, the floral background, the dramatic, the person is in the foreground, close up of the person in the foreground with all the flowers and like really bright,
John's
colorful,
repeating now.
colorful flowers. John, yes, close, John, close, but not quite the same.
I
A little fuzzy around the edges. Cahindo Wiley, more detail. That's the artist who did the official Obama portraits. Okay, so you know what, I think, Seth, did you choose those verses? Yeah, why don't we just like hear from you why those verses out of this portion? It's a big juicy portion.
It's the golden calf story. It's when Moses got enraged at the people worshiping the idol and he burned it down and made them drink it.
I'm fascinated by this. I also latched onto the word enraged when I saw it in the translation. Said, wow, that's really interesting. Moses loses his temper. Moses blows a gasket. But it's not actually all that different from God. God also gets pretty ticked off at certain points. Not at this point, it's Moses that takes it personally, right? He's feeling it personally. I did all of this for them, and look what they're doing now, right?
What's the Hebrew word for enraged?
So that's one of the words that I absolutely love. It's an expression. It's not a single word. You see it in, I'll find it for you. It's Vayikar Av, but where is it in which verse is it in?
19.
Thank you. He became enraged. If you look in the middle of the second line, Vayikar Av, which means his nose burned. Because the way that the Torah often describes emotions is through the way they manifest themselves physically. So when you get angry, the blood rushes to your face, and your nose, your face and your nose get red. So the image of the nose burning is an image of anger. If you think about it, what do dragons do? And not when they're happy, only when they're like going to attack, right? They breathe fire through their nose. Because that's what people associate with anger is this part of your face getting red. Okay. Comments, thoughts about the passage? Trish.
Well, a couple things. First of all, are we going to be singing Debbie Friedman?
We always sing
613,
I do not
We
know.
did this?
I'm familiar with it. I'm familiar with the song, but I don't know.
13 commandments that Moses handed to us.
Okay.
Never mind. Okay, moving right on. The connection, I wanted to think about the connection between the Torah portion and the Haftarah portion in three ways. One is, how do you know something is true? The other is, who do you believe? Who do you put your faith in? And I think those were the two things. The third thing is that Moses might be yelling at the Israelites, but he's just come out of defending them against God. And this is different than those first two things. This strikes me as very much like a parent whose child has been out of line, who is defending them against, say, the principal, and then when they get home, it's like, you're in so much trouble.
Yeah. Nice parallel.
Eternal topics.
No.
How do you get it?
There's so much going on here. Look at the way the tablets are described. They're two tablets of the pact, inscribed on both of their surfaces. They were inscribed on the one side and on the other, on both of their surfaces. So on one side, they're double-sided, aren't they? Okay, we have the image of the two tablets as if they look like this, but in fact, they were written like that.
It's because on the backside is the English translation.
It was the Aramaic, yeah.
Because of cartoons. I mean, well, and the various classical artists who drew them, who painted them that way. And basically, they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
maybe Roman numerals or whatever.
Yeah, because if you're painting them, it doesn't do you any good to show that there's something on the backside. That isn't going to be visible.
But they make it look like it's complete if they've got
On one side, on the
on
front
one side,
yeah.
yes.
I'm not sure that that's what it means, but I think that that's what it means, is front and back.
Well, it
Jan?
would have been too expensive to waste the opportunity.
And that's,
to
I think
just
this is a good point.
Yeah. Too
Janet?
expensive to waste.
Well, I have two questions. One's a point, stone is heavy to carry. So we've got them just with the first two words. But if you had to write out the whole thing, you would need front and back because you couldn't carry 4 stones.
It's a lot of writing, although, I mean, they probably wrote very small. But, yeah, well, hang on to the stone for a minute.
Wait, it's stone, not clay. So you're chiseling in as opposed to, pushing into with a stylus.
Right.
God's doing it, but God's doing the writing.
God's doing the writing on this one. On the second set, when he has to get a second set, he has to write it himself.
It's all about the letting.
So it's about the letting. Interesting. The letting is filling in the letters. Filling in the letters is the
The
letters.
space between the lines, how much you leave.
I thought that's kerning.
Kerning is between the letters.
Yeah. Letting is between the lines.
How much room you took out on the front.
Got it.
versus taking up.
So here's the piece that I think is really interesting. I think we all learned that Moses smashed the tablets, and like, you guys don't deserve this, right? And that a midrash says that the ark contained the second set of tablets, but also the broken tablets, right? That's what the midrash says. But if you read the text the way it's translated here, it says, as soon as Moses came near the camp and saw the camp, he hurled the tablets from his hands and shattered them at the foot of the mountain. That's what it says in the English. I read the Hebrew, that last phrase says, Vayishaber otam tachat ahar,
Within.
or under. Tachat is under. He shattered them under the mountain. Now, I don't know how you could shatter something under the mountain, so maybe at the foot of the mountain is an appropriate translation. But if I wanted to, I could write a midrash that says the tablets are still there, but they're under the mountain. So there we go. I would write that midrash. Yeah.
Can I just have a kind of by the way sort of comparison between the two? In both the stories, of Torah and Haftarah, the people are hopping and dancing. The miscreants.
Oh,
Here they're dancing, right? Moses came near the camp and saw the camp and the dancing. So they were dancing, and one of the things I immediately noticed in the Haftarah in the English was the hopping. Why are you hopping from place to place? And then they bring in, then those Baal priests were hopping, that's part of what they did. So
that was their thing. Their thing was to hop around the altar.
And these guys are hopping around the
Are you going to
Because it's pagan. The reason we don't do it is because it's pagan. But it is an interesting parallel. The Israelites are dancing, the priests of Baal are hopping, and there is something, it looks kind of similar to it. So maybe when they wrote that story about the golden calf, they had in mind this pagan ritual that was practiced in the northern kingdom of Israel, that was associated with Baal worship, where you do this kind of like dance around the altar. And hopping jumping up and down may, besides being something that is ecstatic prayer, that represents getting emotionally involved in the prayer, not like our very intellectual kind of we read words, but the whole point of the prayer is to thoroughly throw yourself into the action of it, the physical action. Remember, Elijah is doing battle with hundreds of prophets of Baal. So this isn't just like a few guys standing around the altar. This is this huge gathering where they're all jumping. They at camp they do this, right?
Yeah.
You know? Right, they all, right? It's a thing, and they're all doing it together. And that would have been really like a sight to see, but it also may be that that's how you get up to God. That in the pagan view is you raise yourself off the ground, you get up closer to God. Janet?
Just like in Morris dancing.
Like in Morris dancing, exactly. You want to explain? Not everybody's familiar. I know that Liz is familiar with this, but you want to explain what Morris dancing is?
So it's in
Morris,
Morris. You know your Uncle Morris? Morris dancing was it predates Christianity in England and the British Isles. You jump, it was only the men, and they do dances where you jump and hop and you try to get as high as you want the crops to grow. And you bang sticks together as part of it. You wear bells.
So if you have an opportunity, well, I'm sure you too must have videos of Morris dancing. If you have an opportunity to watch it, live it's even better because it's one of the most hysterically funny kinds of folk dancing to see. Now there are Morris troops all around the country that get together. It's usually a group of maybe 8, 10 folks. They form clubs and they create routines of Morris dancing. And they strap bells on their legs, and it is something directly out of Monty Python.
I think Steph Curry is part of that. And I also want to know about the 15 commandments. Mel Brooks says
No,
that's
that's the third tablet.
I want to know about the third tablet. Is that what enough?
I wanted to go back to the popping and the dancing and the idea that every culture in some way or another, human beings use song and dance and music, beats, rhythm and not lyric, but melody, that's what I'm looking for, to make sense of meaning, to make meaning. So I want to question, what I want to know is what is the Jewish way to do that at this time? I don't think we have that, but I don't believe it's not there.
This is fascinating. I'm so glad you raised this question. The text seems to be struggling with the abandon that comes with ecstatic prayer. That you allow yourself to get into the emotion of the moment so much that it crosses the line. You've taken it too far, right? That seems to be what's being suggested. Because what you're talking about is, well, we've got this very staid style of prayer that we do here. Ironically, this would look so casual and informal to a previous generation that grew up with ritual worship and particularly Reformed synagogues, but generally most synagogues that has a kind of formality to it and relatively dull. Mm-hmm. And then you have groups that break that mold. That's what Hasidism is. To get out of this and into your body and to have embodied prayer that is not about your ideas, your thoughts. It's about your total devotion that you get yourself worked up in, and that's the whole point, is to get worked up. And here, the text seems to be saying, there is a level of, you can take this too far.
So where do we see embodied prayer in reform? And if we're mind-body creatures and there's a mind-body connection, and we have not just intellectual, we're not just from the neck up, we are, where do we see embodied prayer in reform?
This is not just a reform thing, it's an issue for all movements of Judaism.
Liz Lerman.
Liz Lerman is a good example. Liz Lerman is a dance choreographer who at Sinai, I forgot what
It's Temple Sinai.
Temple Sinai in Washington D.C., which she's a member, has created a way of saying, put your body into the prayer. Let's take motion. Take a motion. How do you express, actually, take a word. How do you express that? Oh, I do it like this. Okay, let's all do this. Okay, ready? Now, what about that one? Oh, that word is this. All right, then ready, let's put them together. And before you know it, you have a dance that you've created spontaneously on the spot. There's more. This tension is playing itself out in the Jewish world right now. It has nothing to do with the reform movement.
Well, being from here up, it's not.
It's all across Jewish movements. Reform, conservative, Orthodox, and Hasidic. And because we have a tendency to think, oh, Hasidism, just like that, Baal Shem Tov style. That isn't what Hasidism looks like today. And so even there is this tension to get further into ecstatic prayer in a movement that has gradually moved away from ecstatic prayer, and now there are those who want to push it back into it. You know what? I went to Bethel, Berkeley, it was supposed to be 2 years ago, to their circle song, Shabbat, and there are half a dozen people banging on djembes.
Banging on what?
Djembes. Djembe is a kettle drum, big African drum. Why? First of all, it was cacophonous and not highly musical as far as I'm concerned. But what I recognize there is a desire to do exactly what you described, Susie, is I'm not here just to say words. I'm here to feel something. I want to feel that beat inside me.
And it's got to be something that is not ecstatic, right? I mean, there's a continuum. There's got to be various options. And this is not a linear thing.
We see the pendulum swinging, and the pendulum is very, very much swinging toward more embodied, more ecstatic prayer, and less intellectual prayer at this moment.
And you look at where people spend their time, and whether they're, in synagogue or if they're in Soul Cycle or whatever. I mean, what are they looking for, right? What is
and here I see this right in the story of the Golden Calf.
Janet's hands.
Janet.
I think you're also skating over the movements that are in our prayers that many rabbis of the recent past kind of downplay. There's a lot of movement. There's walking forward to begin the Amidah. There's bending. There's raising up for Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. There's a lot of choreography that gets downplayed and has become, whether it's shuckling or some of it's actually choreographed in, but our songs that have been written have erased a lot of the movement from prayer, which I personally
I think that actually it's the previous generation of rabbis who in the Reform movement did away with a lot of the movement, and that actually it's the current generation that has returned to it and put it back in. What's more is the songs that I grew up singing had no beat. And the songs that are being written today are primarily songs with a rhythm that you can feel. That makes for simpler songs. They're not as involved, they're not as musically complex. They're things that everybody can jump on and start singing right away.
I think, to Janet's point, when you follow the built-in choreography and the melodies that we use, at least, even the variants that in the Amidah, for example, if you, from beginning to end, if you think about stepping into prayer and follow that meditative melody, even if you're not chanting the words, but you sort of, it's like meditating. You get yourself into the groove, and your mind and your heart and soul should take in the prayer and take in what you need to connect with, and then at the end you're stepping out in Oseh Shalom. Like, I find it very, not linear. So
yeah, in an ideal kind of prayer experience, you've got that feeling of flow.
Right, and it's not necessarily going from my head. It's just feeling it and moving with it. And
Okay.
Let it take you.
Tracy, you get the final word.
As we're talking, I'm going back to what I said about how do you know what is fact and so on. It seems to me it's even simpler than that. It's how do you feel and how do you know? And it's the balance between those two that we've been looking at in both of these.
Yeah. Well, thank you for hitting the high point in the story. And it's actually the pivot point in the book of Exodus. If you go from the first half of Exodus is the escape from Egypt. The second half of Exodus is almost entirely, after a few laws, it's all tabernacle. It starts with rebuilding, golden calf, and then they built it. And so the golden calf is the apex of this. It's the most dramatic moment in the second half of the book, and really the kind of like the crux in the whole arc of the Torah. As you go up, you get up to Sinai, and then we have this drama, and then you come down and you make your way off to Israel. Okay, so we will return the Torah to the ark. Go back here.
We're going to sing, actually, as we put the Torah back in the ark, and then after, as we rise, we're going to stay standing through Leinu. Page 249. I'm going to sing a song in the middle of the page, and Sharon, if you would help with getting that back in. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'hishtakavu Le'hakosho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'hishtakavu Le'hakosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'hishtakavu Le'hakosho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'hishtakavu Le'hakosho. Page 282. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, la tekidu la liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, vanachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim Akadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notei Shamayim V'Yosei Haaretz Umoshe Yikaro B'Shamayim Imamo Shkinatuso, Ushkinatuso, Ovhe Meromi, Eloheinu, Einod, Emet Malkein, Zulato, Kakatu, Betorato, Viadata Yom, Vahashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai, Huha Elohim, Bashamayim Ima'al, V'al haaretz, Mitachat Einod, V'nemar, V'haya Adonai, Lemelech al kol haaretz, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad. Page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam levracha, may their memories be for blessing. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mivarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei de kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, ta'amiran pe'olma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. Anna, do you have any announcements for us?
Small crowd.
Okay. Yeah.
Didn't I give enough last night?
Rabbi Milber for leading the congregation worship and Torah discussion today, and to Sharon Cohen as Gabbai and Skylar Cohen as Tech Mensch. There's a few things going on. An ongoing mitzvah project is the Backpack Project. Beth Emek's been participating in this for over 25 years. They're looking for contributions of $40 or more to provide a backpack and quality school supplies for low-income students in Livermore. Donations are requested by Friday, March 15th so that they can order backpacks and supplies. You can make your donation online. East Bay Jewish Film Festival is coming up on March 17th. There will be 2 films being shown at the Vine. For more information, you can contact Liz Suffett. Tomorrow, there's a CPR and first aid training happening here. I assume there was enough enrollment to make that happen. That's happening at 12:30 tomorrow. Also contact Liz if you have more questions. For the next 6 Thursdays, there's going to be an online course on building successful step families. This course is $250 and an hour and a half each. If you have questions, you can talk to Tsahala or the instructor, Adina Adler. The Men's Club, aka Beth Emek Bros, has their inaugural meeting this Thursday night from 7 to 9 at Bottle Taps. If you have questions, you can contact my husband, Adam Kalman. Monday, March 11th, there'll be a discussion of the presentation by Yossi Klein Halevi. There'll be a presentation by him online, and then a Zoom discussion led by Alon Kama and Jim Green. You can register in the Once Around. Purim is coming up Saturday, March 23rd at 7:30 to 9. There will be a family Mishpucha Feud Purim edition with desserts and drinks, adults only. If you've seen the survey, you'll see why I say that. I will be on a team. I don't know with whom, but it's going to be fun. The next day is the family Megillah reading and Purim Carnival for kids, for families, for grandparents. Encourage people to come, even that are not members of the community. And members of our congregation, rather. And there we go. You have a question or something to add? Yeah, it's early.
It starts at 12:30.
There is or is not a bus? Did that
There is
not
no
happen?
bus.
That did not happen.
There's a group, like, I think, getting
And Mayor London Breed is on the program, as is Assembly Member, or State Senator Scott Wiener. And if you read the article in this week's J about what they have been doing to Scott Wiener, he would be really a good person to hear from. So I think that'll be an important rally. Okay, closing song, Adon Olam, page 321. Thank you, everybody online, for joining us. Really, really appreciate your presence here with us. And welcome to people who might be watching the live stream. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'ik Asa, B'chem Tzokol, Asai Malek Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'yacharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimlok Nora Adon Olam, V'hu Haya, V'hu Hoveh, V'hu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'ik Nasa, B'chem Tzokol, Asai Malek Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Echad, V'yein Sheni, L'hamshilo L'hakbira Adon Olam, V'li Reishi, V'li Takli, V'lo Ha'oz V'ha'misra Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'ik Nasa, B'chem Tzokol, Asai Malek Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'tzorchev li Be'et Sarah Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi, U'manosli, Menat Kosi B'yom Ekra Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'ik Nasa, B'chem Tzokol, Asai Malek Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, B'yado Avkid Ruchi, Be'et Tishar Ve'ahira Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi, Gaviyati, Adonai li V'lo Ira Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'ik Nasa, B'chem Tzokol, Asai Malek Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you again, Seth, for chanting Torah for us today. Shabbat Shalom, John.